So you've received your marquee panel that you're wanting to backlight in your arcade machine, and you want to figure out how you're going to attach it to your perspex without any bubbles or imperfections. Let me show you. There's a few tools that you're going to need for this job. First of all, we use a product called Window Juice, which is from MDP Supplies, but you can easily use a squirty bottle with some water and some dish soap in it. It's just to do what's called a wet apply for the graphics, and it allows the graphic to move around a little bit, but either will work fine. You need a squeegee, which has got to be a solid piece of plastic or something similar to basically remove all of the air bubbles and remove the water when we're finished. You need a scalpel or sharp knife to be able to trim, because all of our graphics are supplied slightly oversized so that they can be trimmed to be a perfect fit. It makes it much easier for you to apply them. And then you'll obviously need your piece of perspex or acrylic that you're going to apply the graphic to, and then your graphic as well. That's all you'll need for this job. So your marquee panel that you've received, you'll notice that the adhesive is actually on the front here. So this has got obviously no stickiness to it at all, and it's reverse printed so that the graphic shows the right way round with the writing, with the adhesive on the front, instead of a traditional print like this where the adhesive is on the back and it's this grey that is the adhesive. The reason for that is so that the panel can be applied to the inside of the perspex panel that you're going to mount, so that the light will shine through nice and brightly and not be distorted. It also stops any damage happening because this isn't a laminated piece of graphic, so it's easier to tear or damage through being knocked and things like that. So let's go on to applying the graphic. So the first step that we need to do is remove the plastic that's covering the perspex. On most pieces of perspex there'll be a protective cover on both the front and the back. So if you see just there, one there, and there's also another one here. It doesn't really matter which one that you remove, as long as you remove one of them. I would recommend that you don't remove both just at this point. There's another one just there. So I'm going to remove the white one, which is here. Ideally, you don't want to wipe the perspex at this stage because it's really easy to scuff and mark it. What we're going to use is the window juice or a solution with water and detergent to give you a little bit of a soapy water. You don't want just plain water. You need some something to stop it from sticking properly. So we'll just spray a little bit over the perspex like this, and then set that to one side. Grab the graphic, remove the backing like so, and then lay the graphic down like so. And what I would always do is apply it in the first instance this way so that you can square it up to make sure it's level, and the important bits are where you want them to be in the middle, and you'll see that the liquid is moving around. So that's just roughly placing the graphic in the right place. Next, what we want to do is flip it over, and with our squeegee or credit card or hard piece of plastic, all we're going is from the center to diagonally on a 45-degree angle and pushing the water out all the way along the panel, top and bottom, just like that. And then the same again in the other direction. And you will notice that all of the water does pop out. And there'll be no bubbles, no creases in the panel, like that. And then what we'll do next is just wipe the desk down. So all we're doing is just wiping the surface so that there's no residue left. And it's worth just giving it a little wipe over just to make sure you have got all the water out. And the next step is simply to trim the graphic panel to size. So I'm just using a sharp scalpel, holding it up against the acrylic and going along the edge as a guide and trimming off the excess. As simple as that. Ideally, you would leave this now to adhere properly overnight, or at least for an hour or so that the adhesive has had time to bond itself to the acrylic. But you can see there are no blemishes on that at all. And then depending on how you're going to apply that to your machine, you can either add some double-sided tape or glue, or slot it in with whatever method you're using to attach it to your arcade machine. And that's essentially how you apply a marquee graphic to a piece of acrylic or perspex.